There is a kind of discipline that sharpens a man, and there is a kind that erases him. Miyamoto Musashi did not seek balance. He did not seek happiness. He did not seek motivation. He sought inevitability. While others trained when they felt strong, Musashi trained when strength was absent. While others searched for purpose, Musashi obeyed structure. This is why his discipline did not collapse under hunger, fear, boredom, or isolation. It did not depend on emotion. It functioned when emotion was gone. What you are about to hear is not inspiration. It is a system. A system so strict it leaves no room for quitting. So precise, it turns hesitation into silence. So cold, it transforms a man into a weapon, not through rage, but through control. This is the samurai discipline system that still works today. And once understood, it makes retreat impossible. Chapter 1. Discipline is not strength. Most people believe discipline is a trait. Musashi understood it is architecture. Strength is unstable. Emotion fluctuates. Motivation decays. Any system that depends on these will fail under pressure. Musashi observed this early. He watched men train fiercely when inspired, only to disappear when discomfort arrived. He saw warriors burn bright, then burn out. And he concluded something most never accept. Discipline that requires strength is already broken. True discipline does not ask how you feel. It does not care if you are tired. It does not pause for confidence. It functions independently of the man. This is why Musashi rejected willpower. Willpower is reactive. It rises and falls. Musashi wanted something static, reliable, unyielding. So he removed reliance on internal force. Instead of asking, "Can I push myself today?" he asked, "How do I remove the option not to?" This was the beginning of his transformation. Most men attempt discipline by adding effort. Musashi removed variables. He simplified his life until action became the only available response. Same waking time, same training structure, same meals, same repetition. Monotony was not weakness. It was containment. When the environment does not change, the mind stops resisting. Resistance feeds on novelty. Musashi starved it. He did not attempt to overpower laziness. He made laziness irrelevant. This is why his discipline survived isolation, injury, and exhaustion. Because it was not emotional. It was procedural. Most people collapse because they ask themselves questions every day. Should I train? Should I rest? Should I wait? Musashi asked these questions once. Then he never asked again. Once a behavior was chosen, it became law. Law does not negotiate. This is the distinction that separates discipline from obsession. Obsessed men fight themselves. Disciplined men remove the fight. Musashi did not struggle to act. He arranged his life so action happened automatically. This is why he could train without enthusiasm, endure without purpose, advance without encouragement. He did not need belief. He had structure. Modern people romanticize discipline as inner fire. Musashi treated it as engineering. Remove choice. Reduce friction. Repeat endlessly. Over time, identity dissolves. What remains is function. This is how a man becomes reliable under pressure. Not inspired, not aggressive, reliable. And reliability is what turns a human into a weapon. In the next chapter, we go colder. Because once discipline is no longer strength, the next illusion to destroy is choice itself. Chapter 2. The removal of choice. Choice is where discipline collapses. Most people believe choice is freedom. Musashi understood it as instability. Every choice creates hesitation. Every hesitation creates time. And time is where fear, comfort, and weakness enter. Musashi did not try to become stronger than temptation. He removed the conditions that allowed temptation to exist. This is the first brutal truth of his discipline system. If you must decide, you are already late. Modern people wake up and negotiate with themselves. Should I train today? Should I push harder or rest? Should I delay and start tomorrow? Musashi never asked these questions. The path was decided in advance. When the mind wakes up into structure, it obeys. When it wakes up into choice, it debates. Debate is decay. Musashi designed his life so debate was impossible. Training occurred at fixed times. Practice followed fixed sequences. Meals were simple, repetitive, uninteresting. Not because simplicity was virtuous, but because it removed cognitive friction. Most people burn energy deciding how to act. Musashi conserved energy for action itself. This made him efficient, cold, unemotional. People misinterpret this as rigidity. It was precision. A blade does not choose how to cut. It cuts in the direction it is aligned. Musashi aligned his life. Choice consumes mental bandwidth. Decision-making drains discipline. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. When pressure increases, the brain defaults to habit. Musashi made sure his habits were unbreakable. He trained until obedience was automatic. This is why his discipline functioned under exhaustion, injury, and fear. Not because he was exceptional, but because he removed internal voting. Most people try to resist impulse. Musashi erased impulse's leverage. If comfort is visible, it will be chosen eventually. If escape exists, it will be used under stress. Musashi closed doors behind himself. Not symbolically, physically. Isolation was not a retreat. It was a design choice. Fewer inputs, fewer distractions, fewer internal fractures. Every removed option strengthened the remaining path. This is where modern discipline fails. People attempt to layer discipline on top of chaos. They keep their distractions, their comforts, their backup plans. Then they wonder why they collapse. Musashi removed chaos first. He did not trust motivation. He trusted structure. Motivation fluctuates. Structure endures. When training time arrived, there was nothing else to do. Not because he was heroic, because the environment made weakness inconvenient. This is the hidden advantage of removing choice. Discipline becomes impersonal. It is no longer about how you feel. It is no longer about identity. It is no longer about pride. It becomes execution. This is why Musashi could endure boredom without breaking. Boredom is where most people quit. They rely on emotional stimulation to continue. Musashi accepted monotony. Monotony silences the ego. The ego demands novelty, recognition, reward. Musashi starved it. When every day looks similar, the ego loses leverage. There is nothing to negotiate with. The mind either adapts or collapses. Most people collapse. Musashi adapted. This is why his discipline did not erode over time. It had no emotional dependency. It did not require meaning every day, only obedience. This chapter carries a warning. If you still feel the need to decide, you are not yet disciplined. You are negotiating. Negotiation always ends in compromise. Musashi allowed no compromise. He designed his life so the correct action was the only action available. This is not extremism. It is inevitability. And inevitability is the foundation of unbreakable discipline. In the next chapter, we move deeper. Because once choice is eliminated, the next enemy emerges, impulse. And Musashi did not suppress impulse. He dominated it. Chapter 3, Repetition Without Mercy. Musashi did not believe repetition was a tool for improvement. He believed it was a weapon for erasure. Repetition was how he removed weakness, hesitation, and identity from action. Most people repeat actions to get better. Musashi repeated actions to disappear inside them. This distinction matters. Improvement still centers the ego. Disappearance destroys it. Musashi understood that the ego is the greatest enemy of discipline. It wants recognition. It wants novelty. It wants confirmation that progress is happening. Repetition denies all of this. When you perform the same movement thousands of times, something breaks. At first, the body resists. Then the mind complains. Then boredom arrives. Then frustration. Most people stop here. Musashi continued, because beyond boredom is silence, and silence is where discipline becomes permanent. He practiced strikes not until they were strong, but until they were inevitable. Same motion, same angle, same timing, no variation. Variation feels intelligent. Variation feels creative. Musashi saw variation as weakness. Variation keeps the ego alive. Repetition starves it. When nothing changes, the mind loses interest. When the mind loses interest, control shifts to the body. When the body takes over, action becomes automatic. This is the state Musashi sought. Automatic action cannot hesitate. This is why repetition was merciless. He did not adjust based on mood. He did not seek stimulation. He did not reward himself for consistency. He obeyed the schedule without interpretation. Repetition under neutral conditions builds skill. Repetition under resistance builds discipline. Musashi practiced when tired, when uninspired, when isolated, especially then, because repetition during discomfort installs obedience deeper than repetition during ease. Most modern systems encourage variety to prevent burnout. Musashi accepted burnout as a filter. Burnout removes those who rely on emotion. He wanted to reach the point where training no longer felt meaningful. Meaning is unstable. Mechanics endure. When repetition removes meaning, only function remains. This is why Musashi's discipline survived time. It was not dependent on passion. It was dependent on structure. Repetition does something most people fear. It exposes how little you change day to day. This feels discouraging to those addicted to progress narratives. Musashi did not measure progress emotionally. He measured it structurally. Was the movement cleaner? Was the response faster? Was hesitation reduced? If yes, repetition continued. If no, repetition intensified. There was no negotiation. Repetition also eliminates self-deception. You cannot lie to yourself when you repeat the same action every day. Excuses become obvious. Weakness becomes visible. This is why repetition feels cruel. It forces confrontation without drama. Musashi welcomed this. He believed clarity was more valuable than comfort. Over time, repetition altered his perception of effort. Effort stopped feeling heavy, not because it became easier, but because resistance disappeared. Resistance is mental. Repetition exhausts resistance. Once exhausted, action flows. This is the same principle modern neuroscience confirms. Habits form through repetition, not motivation. But Musashi went further. He did not want habits. He wanted reflexes. Reflexes operate faster than thought. In combat, thought is death. In life, thought is delay. Musashi trained discipline until response bypassed reasoning. This is why his actions appeared cold. Cold is not cruelty. Cold is efficiency without noise. Repetition removes noise. This chapter carries a harsh truth. If repetition feels unbearable, it means your ego is still alive. That is not failure. It is information. Musashi used discomfort as data. Where discomfort increased, discipline was incomplete. So he stayed there longer. Most people escape repetition the moment it becomes dull. Musashi entered it deliberately. He understood that boredom is the final barrier before mastery. Beyond boredom, there is no emotion left to sabotage execution. Only movement, only response, only law. This is how discipline becomes unbreakable. Not through inspiration, through repetition so consistent that choice, emotion, and identity dissolve. In the next chapter, we move deeper still. Because once repetition removes ego, force itself becomes unnecessary. Musashi did not overpower. He refined. And refinement is colder than strength. Chapter 4, Precision over Force. Force is loud. Precision is silent. Most people believe strength is measured by how hard they push. Musashi understood that force is unreliable. It depends on energy, emotion, adrenaline. Precision does not. Precision functions when energy is low, when the body is tired, when the mind is empty. This is why Musashi rejected force as a foundation for discipline. Force burns fast. Precision endures. Modern discipline fails because it relies on intensity. People wait for motivation. They rely on emotional spikes. They push hard, then collapse. Musashi never pushed. He aligned. Precision begins with economy. Every unnecessary movement is weakness. Every wasted thought is leakage. Musashi trained not to do more, but to do less correctly. He stripped his actions down to what was essential. No flourish, no excess, no emotional expression. When he trained, he did not chase exhaustion. He chased accuracy, because exhaustion lies. Accuracy does not. This is where his discipline became surgical. Most people try to overpower resistance. Musashi bypassed it. He did not fight boredom. He designed repetition, so boredom had no leverage. He did not fight fear. He practiced until fear arrived too late to interfere. Precision is pre-decided action. When the body knows exactly what to do, force becomes unnecessary. This is why Musashi could act under pressure while others froze. Freezing is not weakness. It is overload. Too many options. Too much effort. Too much noise. Precision removes noise. In combat, Musashi did not swing wildly. He waited, observed, then ended it. In discipline, he did the same. He did not attack his bad habits head-on. He starved them. He did not overwhelm his body with goals. He narrowed the target. One action, one standard, one repetition, repeated without variation. This is precision. Modern people are addicted to intensity because intensity feels powerful. Precision feels boring. But boredom is where mastery hides. Musashi spent years refining movements no one would applaud. He practiced foot placement, grip pressure, breathing rhythm, small things, invisible things. Because battles are decided before force is applied. The same is true for discipline. If you require force to act, your system is flawed. Force means friction. Precision removes friction. Musashi's discipline was not aggressive. It was exact. This is why it survived fatigue. When you rely on force, exhaustion defeats you. When you rely on precision, exhaustion is irrelevant. Precision does not require enthusiasm. It requires alignment. This is the difference between effort and execution. Effort is noisy. Execution is quiet. People who rely on force talk about their struggle. Musashi did not talk. He adjusted. This chapter reveals a brutal truth. If your discipline feels heavy, you are using force where precision is required. You are pushing where alignment should exist. Musashi's system did not ask for more energy. It demanded better placement, better timing, better structure. When training time arrived, there was no internal surge, only motion. This is why his discipline appeared inhuman. It wasn't stronger. It was cleaner. Precision also removes emotional attachment. Force is emotional. Precision is mechanical. Musashi did not care how training felt. He cared whether it was correct. This is why he could train sick, train tired, train alone. Precision does not ask for conditions. It adapts to them. Force collapses when conditions worsen. Precision sharpens. This is the discipline most people never develop. They chase motivation instead of mechanics. They try to feel powerful instead of becoming accurate. Musashi ignored how things felt. He focused on how they functioned. And over time, function replaced feeling. This is where discipline becomes terrifying, because it no longer depends on the human state. It operates regardless. In the next chapter, we go colder still, because precision alone is not enough. To become unbreakable, something else must die. Identity. And Musashi killed it without mercy. Chapter 5. The Death of Comfort. Comfort is not neutral. It is corrosive. Musashi understood this long before modern language tried to soften the truth. Comfort does not heal you. It erodes you, slowly, quietly, without resistance. Most people believe discipline fails because life is too hard. Musashi saw the opposite. Discipline fails because life becomes too easy. Comfort dulls urgency. It slows reaction. It teaches the body and mind to expect relief instead of resistance. Once comfort becomes a default, pain feels like injustice. Musashi refused this conditioning. He did not seek hardship for pride. He sought friction for clarity. Comfort hides weakness. Friction reveals it. This is why Musashi lived with intentional austerity even after proving himself. He slept simply, ate simply, owned little. Not because he rejected pleasure, but because he understood something most never learn. What you tolerate trains you. If you tolerate softness, softness becomes your threshold. If you tolerate discomfort, discomfort becomes irrelevant. Musashi trained his nervous system to function without relief. Cold, hunger, fatigue, isolation. These were not obstacles. They were tools. Modern minds panic at this idea because they associate discomfort with harm. Musashi separated the two. Pain is not damage. Pain is information. Discomfort tells you where your edges are. Most people retreat when they reach their edge. Musashi stayed. This is where discipline is either forged or abandoned. When the body wants relief. When the mind searches for justification. When every internal voice asks for mercy. This is where comfort whispers its lies. You've done enough. You deserve rest. Tomorrow will be better. Musashi heard these voices. He ignored them. Not through aggression. Through indifference. He did not fight discomfort. He removed its authority. This is a crucial distinction. People who fight discomfort are still controlled by it. Musashi trained until discomfort became background noise. Like rain. Like wind. Present but irrelevant. This required exposure. Repeated, deliberate exposure. Not random suffering. Not emotional hardship. Controlled hardship. Training when tired. Continuing when bored. Practicing when uninspired. Comfort teaches you to stop when it disappears. Musashi trained himself to continue when comfort never arrived. This is why his discipline did not collapse during hardship. Hardship was familiar. Comfort was the anomaly. This inverted the hierarchy most people live by. For the average person, comfort equals safety. Discomfort equals danger. For Musashi, discomfort equals clarity. Comfort equals decay. This is why he could endure where others quit. They were not weaker. They were softer. Softness is not kindness. Softness is fragility disguised as care. Musashi rejected fragility. He understood that resilience is not built by protection. It is built by exposure. This is why his system does not include motivation. Motivation seeks comfort. It rises when things feel good and disappears when they do not. Musashi did not need motivation. He needed capacity. Capacity to act under strain. Capacity to endure monotony. Capacity to remain precise while uncomfortable. Comfort reduces capacity. Every convenience lowers your tolerance. Every shortcut weakens your structure. Musashi cut away anything that made him dependent. This is why modern people misinterpret his discipline as extreme. It is not extreme. It is preventative. He removed comfort before it could soften him. This is the same reason warriors train in harsh conditions. Not to suffer, but to normalize difficulty. When difficulty becomes normal, fear loses leverage. Fear feeds on unfamiliar discomfort. Musashi starved it. He made discomfort routine, predictable, unthreatening. This is why he remained calm in chaos. Chaos feels overwhelming only when you are used to control. Musashi never depended on control. He depended on adaptability. Comfort limits adaptability. It conditions you to expect stability. Musashi expected instability. So when it arrived, nothing changed. This chapter carries an uncomfortable truth. If your discipline collapses when conditions worsen, you are not disciplined. You are conditioned. Conditioned by comfort. Musashi broke this conditioning deliberately. He trained himself to operate without reassurance, without praise, without relief. This did not make him miserable. It made him free. Free from dependency. Free from negotiation. Free from the need to feel good in order to act correctly. This is why his discipline was feared. Not because it was intense, but because it was indifferent to comfort. And anything indifferent to comfort cannot be controlled by it. In the next chapter, we move deeper still. Beyond comfort, beyond effort, into the law that replaces discipline entirely, where action no longer feels chosen. It feels inevitable. Chapter 6, The Collapse of Resistance. At a certain depth of discipline, resistance does not disappear gently. It collapses, not because you overpower it, but because it no longer has structure. Musashi understood this stage well. It is where most men fail permanently, not at the beginning, not during enthusiasm, but here, when resistance becomes subtle. Early resistance is loud. The body complains. The mind protests. Fear announces itself clearly. That resistance is easy to identify. But the resistance that destroys long-term discipline is quiet. It sounds reasonable. It wears logic. It disguises itself as intelligence. I've trained enough today. I understand the principle already. I'll return to this tomorrow. Musashi did not argue with these thoughts. Eliminated the conditions that allowed them to exist. Resistance survives only where comfort is permitted. So Musashi removed comfort first, not as punishment, as strategy. His environment was intentionally stripped down. Few possessions, simple meals, predictable routines, repetitive movement, nothing stimulating, nothing distracting, nothing soft enough to weaken resolve. This was not asceticism for spiritual pride. It was preparation for inevitability. Resistance thrives on contrast. Comfort versus effort. Ease versus pain. Pleasure versus obligation. Remove contrast and resistance starves. When everything is simple, effort stops feeling exceptional. Training becomes normal. Endurance becomes default. Silence becomes familiar. This is where resistance collapses. Not because you win, but because there is nothing left to fight. Most people keep resistance alive unintentionally. They reward themselves excessively. They seek balance prematurely. They protect comfort while demanding discipline. Musashi saw this contradiction clearly. You cannot negotiate with resistance while feeding it. You must outlast it. And resistance has poor endurance. It relies on novelty, on stimulation, on emotional fluctuation. Musashi denied it all three. He trained in monotony. Same movements, same hours, same solitude, day after day. Resistance hates repetition. It grows loud when things are new. It grows weak when things are familiar. This is why most people quit routines, not because they are hard, but because they are boring. Musashi embraced boredom deliberately. Boredom is not emptiness. It is purification. It removes emotional dependency. Once boredom no longer disturbs you, resistance loses its last weapon. This is when discipline becomes dangerous, because it no longer feels heavy. You act without inner friction. No arguing voice. No bargaining voice. No self-pity. Just movement. This is the collapse point, where discipline stops requiring enforcement. Musashi reached it through duration, not intensity. Intensity excites resistance. Duration exhausts it. This is why short bursts of effort fail. They provoke resistance, but never finish it. Musashi stayed long enough, weeks, months, years, until resistance ran out of arguments, until the mind stopped offering alternatives, until action became the path of least resistance. This is the inversion most people never experience. They think discipline requires constant force. Musashi discovered the opposite. Discipline becomes effortless once resistance is structurally removed. Not suppressed, removed. By repetition, by simplicity, by inevitability. At this stage, the body obeys before thought forms. The mind follows after. This is why Musashi's movements appeared calm and precise even under threat. Resistance had already been defeated long before combat. Combat was only execution. This chapter contains a hard truth. If you still feel constant resistance, you have not stayed long enough. You are still negotiating. You are still switching paths. You are still feeding comfort while demanding strength. Musashi chose one path and stayed. And resistance, deprived of novelty, stimulation, and leverage, collapsed. Not dramatically, silently. In the next chapter, we cross the final threshold, where discipline no longer feels like discipline, where the self itself dissolves, and what remains is something colder, something permanent, something that cannot quit. Chapter 7, The Weaponized State. At the end of discipline, there is no aggression. There is no anger. There is no hunger to prove. There is only function. This is where Miyamoto Musashi arrived. Not as a man driven by force, but as a system that could not malfunction. A weapon is not emotional. It does not rise and fall with mood. It does not need encouragement. It performs when activated. Musashi did not become dangerous because he trained harder than others. He became dangerous because nothing inside him interfered. Most men are divided. One part wants comfort. One part wants progress. One part wants recognition. One part wants escape. Division creates delay. Delay creates weakness. Musashi eliminated division. By the time he reached mastery, there was no internal debate left to silence. There was no voice to overpower. Action occurred cleanly. This is the final state of discipline, when the self no longer resists its own commands. People imagine discipline as tension held indefinitely. Musashi understood that tension must be temporary. If discipline feels like strain, it has not finished forming. The weaponized state is relaxed, not careless, not passive. Relaxed because there is nothing to fight internally. This is why Musashi appeared calm even before combat. Not because he lacked fear, but because fear had no leverage. Fear negotiates. There was nothing left to negotiate with. His body moved because it was trained to move. His mind focused because distraction had been starved out long ago. His attention stayed where it was placed. No leakage. This is what separates discipline from obsession. Obsession burns. Discipline stabilizes. The obsessed man needs constant stimulation. The disciplined man operates in silence. Musashi did not need external pressure to perform. He carried pressure internally as structure. Structure does not shout. It holds. At this stage, quitting is no longer resisted. It is unavailable, not because of pride, not because of stubbornness, but because quitting requires an identity that can imagine an alternative life. Musashi had no alternative self left. The path consumed it. This is the truth few people accept. To become unbreakable, something in you must die. Not motivation, not desire. Identity. The identity that asks, what do I feel like today? The identity that wants flexibility. The identity that wants an exit when it becomes uncomfortable. Musashi did not negotiate with that part. He outlasted it, day after day, season after season, until it went quiet. What remained was not harshness. It was clarity. This is why the weaponized state feels inevitable. Once reached, it cannot be forced or accelerated. It only arrives through attrition, the slow erosion of excuses, the repeated choosing of structure over sensation. This is why most men never reach it. They want results without erosion, strength without loss. Musashi accepted loss as the price. Loss of comfort, loss of self-image, loss of options. In exchange, he gained reliability. Reliability under pressure is the rarest form of power. Anyone can perform when conditions are perfect. Only systems endure when conditions collapse. Musashi made himself a system, and systems do not rise to occasions. They execute. This is the end of the path described in this series. not a promise of confidence, not a guarantee of success, but something colder: stability. If you adopt this discipline, your life will become quieter, less dramatic, less reactive. People may find you distant. You are not distant. You are no longer leaking energy into internal conflict. If you are waiting for discipline to feel exciting, you will never reach this point. If you are willing to let discipline become boring, repetitive, and silent, it will eventually become unstoppable. Musashi did not become a weapon by sharpening his edge once. He removed everything that dulled it until only function remained. That is the final lesson. Not how to fight harder, but how to remove everything that makes you fragile. And when fragility is gone, what remains does not break. When the path closes behind you, by now you should understand something uncomfortable. Miyamoto Musashi did not become unbreakable because he was gifted. He became unbreakable because he removed the option to retreat. His discipline was not built on motivation, not on inspiration, not on emotion. It was built on structure so strict that quitting became impossible. Most people search for strength when they feel weak. Musashi eliminated weakness by eliminating choice. He did not ask himself who he wanted to become. He decided how he would live and allowed identity to follow. This is the discipline system you have just learned. Not a technique, not a mindset, a way of arranging your life so that correct action becomes inevitable. If this unsettled you, that is a good sign, because real discipline does not comfort, it confronts. And if you feel resistance right now, understand this. Resistance is the last voice of the old self. You do not need more motivation. You do not need more confidence. You do not need another explanation. You need fewer exits. Close one door today. Design one action that cannot be negotiated. Repeat it tomorrow and the day after. Do not rush transformation. Let inevitability do the work. If this video sharpened your thinking, subscribe and activate notifications. This channel is not about feeling powerful. It is about becoming unshakable. And tell me in the comments, what is the one habit you know must end, but haven't sealed yet? Until the next lesson, walk the path without hesitation.